Hello, Fallen Dragonite here. Today we are going to be looking at a special set of, well, it's a action figure and it's a model kit. Not at the same time, I mean, but okay, this is going to take some explanation, but we are looking at the HG Gunpla S.H Figuarts bundle pack of the Tamashii Girl Io and Soryumaru. Now then, this set normally is sold separately. You have to buy the figure and the model kit separately, but during the last weekend of June, there was an event known as the MADE, which stands for Manga Anime Digital Event, which was held by Bluefin, who does a lot of Japanese imports of collectibles. They deal with usually like frame arms and Figma, but they mostly deal in Bandai stuff, which is like the S.H Figuarts, the Tamashii stages, and of course the Gunpla kits. So during this sale, there was a lot of stuff going on. Like, for example, if you bought the General Tao or the King Piccolo figure from the S.H Figuarts line, you got a Tamashii stage effects piece. If you bought $30 of Sailor Moon stuff, you got a blind box charm. If you bought $50 of Dragon Ball Z stuff, you got a free scouter and an art print. And then, of course, there was also bundle deals. Like, there was like 5 of the Digi-Evolving Spirits figures for $200, considering those are like $50 to $80 a pop. That was a pretty good deal. And there was a few other bundles and sales that I can't really remember off the top of my head. I mean, this was, of course, at this point 2 weeks ago, but this particular set was being sold for about $50. The model kit alone, don't worry about that off the screen, the model kit alone is about $25 to $35, depending on where you get it. The figure was on sale for $47, I believe, but it normally goes for about $58. No, wait, it's $57 that normally goes, and it's $48 it was on sale for. Sorry, I got my last number mixed up, but yeah, $50 for both of these was actually a pretty damn good deal. So, of course, I decided to try to get it. Anyway, as you can see, Tamashii Girl Io. I've left her in the package for this half of the video because we are going to have to split this into 2, maybe 3 parts depending on how long this is going to take. Because I want to take a look at each one of these individually and then what they do together. Because as you can see on Soryumaru's box, and as you probably already saw on Io's box, they can combine into 2 different types of motorcycles. So yeah, they have a combination. But here's why. Because, you see, this set was made as a anniversary piece for the merging of Bandai Hobby and Bandai Collectibles. The respective companies, Bandai Hobby does the Gunpla kits and all the other hobby-related items like markers and stages and whatnot, whereas the collectibles are the S.H Figuarts and all those other kind of non-buildable items. So they merged the 2 divisions together to make Bandai Spirits. So this set, Soryumaru and Io, are basically a collaboration between these 2 divisions in the 2-year anniversary after the 2 divisions merged together. Now then, I was originally planning to do a build video of this, but after seeing how this works online and actually trying to go through the instructions myself, I realized this thing is not something I could build on camera because it is a really complex kit. I mean, this thing is an HG kit, which is high grade, but it builds more like a master grade kit. It's not comparable to a master grade in size, but I was getting flashbacks to the Musha Gundam Master Grade kit I built a few, I think it was like 2 years ago. And that thing took me about 2 days to build. This only took me about overnight, but it still took a long time to build this thing. Anyway, box out of the way. And let's take a look at the kit itself. There is Soryumaru. Now then, as I said, he is a HD kit. And I do have some size comparisons before we get here. Here is my Blue Destiny Unit 2, which is also a high grade. He's pretty much bigger than a standard high grade, but there are other high grades about this size. For example, my Victory Fumara. And she's a little bit taller, and she's actually spread legs, so she might be actually a little taller than Soryumaru. Of course, she's not your standard Gunpla build either. She's more like one of those Figuarts builds. And again, I haven't built a Figuarts before, so I can't really comment on that. I think the closest thing was that $40 Batman figure they had for that Sprue Rise, I believe it was called. I don't remember. It was just so long ago since that line was in stores. Anyway, Soryumaru is a very nicely detailed figure. I did panel line his thighs, the back here, some areas in the shoulders, and a few little areas in the chest and hands. I didn't panel line a whole lot because there really isn't a need to panel line this guy too much because, again, IO is not panel lined, so it would just look weird if he had all of his details panel lined like I usually do with these Gundam kits. There's also quite a bit of sticker detail. All this gold in his chest is sticker detailed. This head crest is sticker detailed despite being on gold plastic. Not the gold plastic that falls apart on Transformers, thank the light. We have his knees with gold and red stickers. There is a red sticker in his visor for his eyes, although it's red plastic. That's not really necessary, much like the gold sticker here. And then there's the optional stickers, which I put onto him as well. The HDG logo in his armor here. That's optional. You don't need to put that in if you don't want to, but it's a more high quality sticker than the foil stickers we put on him before, as well as this on the back, which is more for the motorcycle mode. Again, this is a different kind of sticker. It was also very hard to put on because I was using a tweezers and a toothpick rather than using my bare hand so I don't get my finger oils on it. And of course, this sticker right here is also one of those optional stickers as well. And I'm not done with those optional stickers either. There's still more. And these are actually for IO. Or AO. I'm pretty sure I'm butchering that name. Yeah, these go on her motorcycle mode, as well as these stickers here, which I will explain what these are for later. Because the piece that has the blue versions, I haven't even shown yet. But he is a very nice looking samurai, with these panels kind of looking like the back flags that samurai warriors would have. His articulation, he has a nice pivoting shoulder joint right there. It works for transformation, but also works nicely for articulation. There's a ball joint and hinge right up here, although the ball joint is on that stem there, so I want to be very careful. Shoulders are universal. He has the bicep swivel. He has the double jointed elbow. Not uncommon these days on a high grade. He has, of course, the wrist swivel, which is on a ball joint. He has two ball joints in his head, one in the head and one in the torso, so you can get a little bit of articulation there. His torso has a bit of a crunch with this panel here being able to flip up and down. You might notice that piece is starting to come apart. That's actually for the transformation into bike mode. Now the picture shows it like this, but sometimes I've had them like this instead. But I think the slight ab crunch actually looks a little better, looks cleaner. He has a hinge here, rotation there. This actually comes apart a little bit easy. So I have to push it in sometimes to get the friction back. Universal hips with in and outward movement, just like the shoulders. Thigh swivel. And double jointed knees with an articulated knee. So it actually slides out. This piece right here is just for transformation. You don't really need it for articulation whatsoever. This piece right here flips up for articulation purposes. And there is a diagonal cut on this joint right here as long as 2 stems, so you can get some nice articulation in his foot. These panels right here are on a peg and 2 joints right there, so you can get these articulated like you need to. There's also 2 pieces I'm going to need to point out, which are more for the transformation. And that's this peg here, and there's another peg hidden in this panel here, which articulates up during transformation. I am not going to demonstrate the transformation on camera for 2 reasons. 1, this is model kit plastic, not action figure plastic. It is a lot more fragile. If you handle this roughly, it's going to break. In fact, the instructions even tell you to handle certain pieces very carefully to prevent breakage. The second reason is that the transformation on this guy is very, very finicky. These panels were a nightmare to get these things aligned properly. These panels were really hard to get aligned properly. Getting the pegs to work in the slots they're supposed to go in, and as you can see, there's some pegs. And they even tell you to be very careful not to clip these smaller pegs on it. And of course, the sliding panels in his chest, because there's a sliding panel there, and there's a sliding panel there, and then there's these little pieces over here on ball joints. His head has to be in a certain position to make sure it fits flush with the rest of the body. Yeah, this thing is not easy to transform because everything has to be in the exact right position or it's not gonna work. Not terribly bad. I mean, I've had worse transformers. Titanium Megatron comes to mind, but not in the terms of transformation. But yeah, he's not perfect, but a nice little figure on his own. If you don't get the S.H. Figuarts figure, he's a nice little display piece. Although you won't be able to make use of his transformation gimmick. Okay, considering I'm having trouble standing him right now on my table because I have a new desk now. It's made out of metal. I have to use this Relic Knights playmat in order to actually get some friction on here. But he comes with an official Gunpla base. Yes, this is the exact same base they sell for Gunplas. And he actually comes with this included. And it is a full sprue with all the parts, but it only tells you that you need this piece, these 2 pieces here, which just adjust how high this can go, the base, and the little tip on the end, and the 2 arms. And of course the little thing in the base. That's it. This is all you need to mount this guy on the base. But these are universal. You can use these for any other Gunpla, and if you do have the instructions for the basic bases, it does come with all the parts. You can just build all the pieces and have a base you can use for just any Gunpla you want. How this works, if you haven't seen how these work before, these aren't ratcheted in any way. Instead, they have a lock. You just have to pull the lock, rotate it until you get to the position you want, and then just re-engage the lock. Same with down here. I actually do like that because sometimes ratchets and friction joints will wear out over time, whereas this is nice and solid. It's locked in place. I don't have to worry about it losing its grip over time unless you like press it down and break the plastic. Of course, the port is right there on the back of his crotch, like so. Let's just reposition that, and he can just be on his base, like so. Sorry, I don't have time to put him in a nice cool pose yet. But let's talk accessories. First things first is this. What's this piece of plastic for? Combine mode. Nothing else. Second is this flintlock rifle. The only other gunpla I've ever seen with a flintlock rifle, at least to my knowledge in my ownership, is the Musha Gundam. Considering he has they're both samurai, I'm not surprised. Now then, you can pull this piece out, and there's the sword, which is just black plastic. It doesn't show it painted on the box. That just slides right in. And then, of course, the handle, when the sword's out, you can flip around like so, and you can use it also as a rifle. Now then, you can hold the sword. You can hold it here, and you can also hold it here and use it like a sheath. Because, of course, this is just a sword sheath. And then, of course, there's two pegs right there. And it just plugs in to the two holes right there on his side armor. Unfortunately, you have to press in his side armor to make sure you get the friction so it can hold it up properly. You can't fold the handle back in while the sword's engaged, though. There's also something else I want to point out about this figure's hands that... Anyway, normal gunplas, as you can see, you have to unplug the back of the hand in order to put in any weapon like this. As you can see, you can't just slide it in. You have to put it in. I'm not a really big fan of this because a lot of gunplas I have that have this, like, for example, my Victory Fumura and my Blue Destiny Unit 2, they have it. You're basically sandwiching friction together, and eventually that peg is just going to come right off. So, not really all that great. However, for this guy, you see, I'm not sure how well it shows up on camera, but there's actually a notch right there on the gun. That's because there is enough friction in the hand to get it in there nice and tight. It is not going to come out of that hand. And you're just covering it up. The sandwiching of the pieces is not the friction. Just putting this into his hand is the friction, which I really do like, because that means I don't have to worry about this piece coming off. I don't have to worry about his grip loosening on this thing. Of course, you can't just slide this in either. You have to make sure that it's in properly. So let's put that on his hip like it's supposed to, and look at the final accessory. And that is his mechanical war fan. Yeah, this is a war fan that Japanese generals use, and you can probably already tell this thing is supposed to be the front wheel in his motorcycle mode, or the rear wheel depending on the combination. You can see there is blue stickers all along the edge of the wheel, and that's what those red stickers on the sheet are for. When you have the figure, you put the stickers on her wheel. Now then, there's two ways to mount this. First off, there is the post right there in the middle, which you just put in his hand like so. So that he uses it like the war fan. Or alternatively, there's holes right there. Just put it right there in the peg, like so. Yeah, it's kind of hard to align this behind the camera, but there we go. So now he has it as kind of a shield. So let's get him in a nice cool pose here. I'm going to try my best to recreate the box art from memory here because I have it put down. I'm not looking at the box art. I'm just going to try to recreate it from memory. Okay, so put that in. Oh, am I getting in the right angle? Put that in. And yeah, that is my review of the Gunpla Kit Soryumaru. He's a really nice looking figure. His transformation is going to be finicky if you're going to be using his combination mode. He is a bit of a complex figure, but he's well worth trying to build. He's really nice for display. But again, if you don't get IO, you're missing half the reason to get him. Let me just put that up like so. That looks better. Anyway, that's my review. I'm going to just leave it here for now. I'm going to take IO out of her box and play around with her, try to figure out how her transformation works, and then I'll get back to reviewing her. And then either during her video or during a separate video, we will look at the two different combination modes they do. So that is my video, and I hope to see you guys again next video. Bye!